Have you ever wondered what it's really like to sail to other countries? To dive amazing locations and explore the world on a yacht? Then come with us.
This is my suburban dream. I'm not worried about a thing.
We want to get a number of boat jobs done while we're here in Auckland, including rewire all batteries and electronics and hard install our Starlink. And then we want to prepare for Tonga, and the list includes fixing our leaking tap, meal planning and preparation, build a fuel polisher, polish fuel and fuel containers, check the engines, do a shakedown cruise, books for schools in Fiji, fill up our spare containers, replace emergency drinking water, and check our running lights. Ever since we got new batteries and inverted charger installed in Mackay, which you might remember was not installed properly, got an electrician to install our new batteries and our inverter on the basis that paying a professional, they'd get it right. And the 240 side, I think, is all perfect, and he's a lovely guy. But on the 12 volt side, I've discovered after 2 days of him trying to problem solve why it wasn't working properly, we've discovered what the problem is. And I've had it now confirmed by Dave, my electrician solar expert from back home in Adelaide. And if we have a look down here, this thing here is called a shunt. And that's how the BMV can monitor and the colour controller can see what's going in and out in terms of electricity. Now, for the battery here, you can see we've got the big 120mm cable does not go through the shunt, it goes straight into the fuse box. And all negative has to go through the shunt first, which is not. And that's where we're getting both wrong and inverted readings, etc. For more on this and other maintenance jobs, as well as major upgrades, check out Adventure 96 and Adventure 97. Although we fixed that ourselves as best we could when we were at sea, it really is not properly set up. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get it rewired so it's absolutely schmick and we're getting the maximum performance out of our batteries and out of our chargers. So this is what it looks like now. There's our lithium batteries. You can see our water maker, power going into what is a very large fuse box there for the inverter charger, obviously the inverter charger, and then we have our DC to DC chargers coming off the engine alternator, and that is our solar controller. I'm just absolutely hoping that these guys know what they're doing, because last time we spent a lot of money and it wasn't right. But so far they seem to be pretty confident and they seem to know what they're doing. Guess we'll know in a day or two.
Jamie says I looked frazzled. Man's got an entire vocabulary all of his own. We're trying to outthink the electricians who are going to depower our boat for one. They said 1 day. Now they're saying maybe 2. Problem being, that means we've got no toilets and no refrigeration. So we can't stay on the boat, and we might lose stuff that's in the freezer, which we have run down pretty low, but not as low as I probably should have. So, do we book a quest? Do we not book a quest? Do they not turn? They've come to have a look. We pulled half the boat apart, but if they don't come back till late afternoon, then there's no point moving stuff out of the freezer yet. So, I say we don't book the quest yet, because there's 2 quests in town and they have plenty of rooms. We can always book it later because, as we know, accommodation is non-refundable. So we wait. We're going to wait them out, see what happens.
There is a small chance. Where are you going? There is a small chance.
Just going over here.
That they have to hook up emergency power so the bilge pumps would still work. So there is a possibility they hook up a small charger to a small battery, because they're not going to use our house batteries because they don't want them to be uneven, or what they call balanced. However, if there was a small charger, then that could be enough to keep the fridges on, and we could always sleep in the starboard side if that's the case, if there's just that basic power.
No toilet.
Sure. That doesn't matter, we can always, if we have to walk to the local. Yeah, you're looking excited at that prospect.
Yeah, standing up there in the middle of the night to pee. Not happening. Not for $199 a night. Not happening, Jamie. Not in the school holidays. It'll be right.
What could possibly go wrong?
Nothing.
Well, we've finished rewiring the entire of the batteries, the electrics, etc. So with the help of Mike from Beacon Electrical over here in Auckland, we've completely cleaned this up, basically clean sheeted it and done it properly. I'm really, really happy with the setup. These are the bus bars that we've installed, and that way we're getting really consistent and even charging of our lithiums, which is really important. On the negative terminal side, again, bus bars down at the bottom, now a lot neater going through there to the shunt, and we've tidied up the cabling on the DC to DC chargers there, and just like before, we've got some additional fuses. Labelled all the fuses as to what they are and what the fuse value is when we need to replace them. Good morning. So today we want to run a Starlink cable, essentially from up at the nav station all the way through the boat over to the other side, to the other hull, and then up the stainless steel that we've just installed to mount the antenna. So I'm going to pull this wall off. We've got to detach the air conditioning, and then we need to work out how we're going to feed it through using our Cavity King, which is just a flexible bit of plastic. These things are absolutely amazing at getting things through tight spaces. Let's get to it. Okay, the noise you can hear is Mark, our welding guy, who's just grinding some of the welding that he's done. Denise has just poked through the Cavity King. I'm going to attach the string. Okay, babe, it's attached. Got it? Yeah. Here is our drawstring that we intentionally put in last time that takes stuff back up behind the helm and the electronics board. Pull this out. Lay it down.
While I search for the magical drawstring that I left here the last time we pulled cable. And there it is.
Legend.
So, stay there.
Feels pretty tight.
Alright. Not as tight as you think, it's just got other wires around.
That's what I mean though.
It'll be okay, darling.
Honestly, that's super tight. You pull on it.
Yeah, it's just the corner it's coming around, Toby.
Yeah, well, it's going to be difficult, isn't it? Getting the pulling a cable through that.
Oh, it's not meant to be. Shouldn't be that tight. Hold on.
More romantic sailing.
Is it coming?
Yeah, it's coming. But what concerns me is how tight this is, because the cable's going to be bigger than this drawstring.
Yeah.
There it is. Got it.
So you're asking how we get this drawstring back? When we tie this to the cable, we then tie the drawstring back as well, and we pull them both through, leaving our drawstring back where we had it.
It's caught in the wires. That knot needs to be there.
So what I'm thinking is we've got the old Wi-Fi booster that we're about to pull through. If I uncable tie it from here and pull that through, that should hopefully clear that problem that you're having with the bolt being stuck. That's what I'm thinking.
Have you almost got it?
Woohoo! Can I have some scissors, please? Hopefully that'll taper it so it'll go through this first, it's really just the first corner that's bad. All the rest looks pretty good. Trying to now feed the wire for Stinky's butt through this very first bend, which is really tight. And I think will be the hardest part of the whole thing. Cable gone. Oh, there. All right, Jamie, I need you to pull.
Okay, stage one. Okay, can you hear me through the hole?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull.
Yeah, in a sec, hang on. Cable's starting to come through now.
Can you pull a bit from here?
Almost.
Hey, look at that. Oh, that's not precarious.
Now we still need to get some neoprene to pad this out. And then we'll pull that through once we're done. Let's see if he works.
And we've used an existing hole that we had to thread the power cable through, and he's on.
And that is now our Starlink completely installed.
On the internet, our dreams come true.
Have a leaky tap, and we have done all the obvious things. Washers, this little whatever that contraption things cost. So we're $100 into the project so far. Tap's still leaking. Now we need to see if we can go and find a new tap. Big problem, our boat, French. We've had issues with the plumbing before. Maybe gas plumbing we've had the biggest issue with, but plumbing in general, we shall see.
Trying to install a new tap.
Any complicating issues, Jamie?
Yes.
What are they?
They are an inability to get in there. This is not easy. Very comfortable position to be in.
Leaking? Not leaking.
Yeah, leaking. So we're going to take the attachment out, make sure it's secure, and then reinstall it into the hose because it's just sort of free spinning within the hose. I think we've got it fixed. I then just need to put it back with some zip ties.
Kitchen is back to a functional state with a new tap.
To worries are little spots upon the sun when I'm
Jamie has earned his pumpkin soup, as have I.
sleeping in.
We think the passage to Tonga will be about 8 days. So I'm going to do 8 dinners and probably 4 lunches, I reckon, because quite a few of the beginning lunches are chicken salads and chicken sandwiches and stuff, and so that's actually easy just to do while we're underway. But actually cooking at night with saucepans and frying pans and boiling water and stuff is exhausting, and I'm just not interested. So we are halfway through. So the vacuum sealed meal prep for our trip to New Zealand went really well. Didn't have to cook it all on the way here, which is great. Doing it again. I'm about halfway through dinner prep, I think, and this is spaghetti and meatballs. And then, hold on. Not vacuum sealing it the whole way, because on the way here we realised that it just sort of mushed the ingredients a bit more. So I'm just doing it enough just to get a little bit of the air out, because air's your enemy in the freezer. So once they're cryovac, I then write on them so we know what they are, and also because some of the serves are Jamie's because they're bigger. And then I had leftover meatballs, so they will become like a meatball sub or maybe a meatball wrap or something for a lunch. And once they cool down, I'll put them in the freezer. If it's good weather though, as it was on the way to Lord Howe, we will probably have ingredients to cook. Passes the day, gives you something to do, and fresh food is nicer. But if it's not and it's crap, then microwave we are. So far, we have chicken risotto, green chicken curry, Singapore noodles, and now spaghetti and meatballs. I try to pick things that we actually want to eat while we're feeling miserable. Passages are not the time to diet because you're already sad. So, nice meals, tasty.
Thanks for watching. If you could give us a thumbs up, if you haven't already, subscribe. And if you've got any questions about prepping for being offshore long term, or you'd like to put some comments in relation to this episode, please put it in the comment section below and we'll do our best to answer each of those. Thanks guys, bye. Over there and over there is some of our spare fuel containers. Problem is, we filled them at Lord Howe Island and we've been told by people on Lord Howe Island that the fuel quality is crap and it's probably full of diesel bug. So what we want to do is polish the fuel. Polish the fuel just means putting it through a filter so it doesn't end up into your tanks with diesel bug, etc. So what I'm doing here is I'm putting together a fuel polisher, and I'm doing it with the exact same size filters that we use on the boat, because we always have heaps of spare filters. Just going to mount it on a board with some hose. So literally a jerry can, we can do that in about 10 minutes, probably less, 4 or 5 minutes, and clean the fuel into a nice new container. Because when we are in various countries where the fuel quality is low, then we really want to make sure that fuel is in a lot better condition before we put it into our tanks. So here we are, all done. It will sit upright when we're using it, because of course there's a water trap in the fuel filter. But essentially that is our little one container of fuel at a time fuel polisher. I plug in our power supply. This goes in, obviously we've removed the bolt, that will go in the dirty fuel container. This will go in the clean fuel container, and literally just turn the power on, and in 4 minutes it will go through 20 litres and give us nice clean fuel. We're going to get polishing. This is our little power supply, which is a really nifty thing to have on a boat because we can adjust the power. It's quite powerful in terms of its amperage output, and so we've used it for various projects. We've used it when we need 12 volts for something, yeah, good thing to have on board if you're cruising.
Someone would say a nifty bit of kit.
It is a nifty bit of kit. Okay, turn it on. That didn't take long. I'll just bleed the air out of the fuel filter. Probably already going, yes it is. We're now 5, almost 6 containers in, and it's ticking over really well. Only thing I would have done differently is our little 4 litre a minute pump. I probably would have gone, say, 10 litres a minute. 20 would be too fast, but 4 is probably a bit slow, but it's working fine.
You got somewhere you need to be?
Here we go, it's empty. To very scientific is we're basically just wiping up the bottom in case there's any sort of diesel bug or contaminants down the bottom. Clean up these containers. We now have clean fuel, and we've got some empty jerrys that we need to get filled up. This little guy's worked a treat. I'm just going to change the fuel filter now because we know we've got diesel bug all through that one. I'm just going to jump in the engine bay, and although our engines are not due for servicing, I'm just going to check the oil, the gearbox oil, belt tension and coolant level, just to make sure everything's perfect for our departure, should we ever get a weather window to leave. Let's go. Just check the oil, and that is about perfect. Gearbox oil, yeah, this is the belt tension. Ideally, there should be only about 10 mil, 1 centimetre of free play. So that's a little bit loose, but I don't have any adjustment left in the adjustment area over here. The water pump V-belt is also perfect as well. Just going out for a little bit of a shakedown cruise after we've done a whole lot of work, obviously, on the boat in general. So we're going to make sure the new battens are happy when we pull the mainsail up. We did find that we need to adjust the alternator V-belt in the port engine. And our zipper on the sail bag, which we know has been going for a long time, is just about knackered. And we're yet to leave the marina, so that's what we've discovered in, what, 300 or 400 metres? do that nicely. Which is very good. Our battens are looking fantastic, so we're happy with those. Water flow out of the engines is looking really good, which is really good. We've got books to give away to some schools in Fiji.
Just been to Horizon School in Snells Bay to pick up some books to take to Fiji and Tonga for them, primarily Fiji. Leftover like exercise books and library books and stuff. But I'm just unpacking them to make sure that's all that's in the boxes, because you never can tell and trust anyone, especially not when you're taking something within another country, I should say, and you're going to have to go through customs and immigration and biosecurity. So if there was anything nasty in there, we need to know. Plan? What plan?
We are going to top up some towels.
Old towels.
Old towels. We're going to top up empty jerry cans. So we've got about 80 litres of diesel to get and probably about 10 litres of petrol. And we're going to do that in the car before we sell the car.
And why is that? Why aren't we doing it on the boat?
Because over there, they take $2,000 of your money and they hold on to it for 2 weeks, irrespective of the size of the purchase that you want to get out of the fuel station. So we're not going to do that. We're going to get a couple $100 for the fuel. We're going to get that happening right now.
How'd I do from squishy?
Yeah, really good. Really good. We're going to replace the water with fresh, clean drinking water. Should be nothing wrong with it, but it's been in there for, we think, about 6 months. One of the things we wanted to do before we left was make sure all our steaming lights work. So I'm going to do that now it's dark.
And the anchor light.
Alright, let's head outside and see if they're working as they should. Stern light, check. Let's have a look at the front. Already see from here. Port and starboard lights. Check. Now, there is our masthead light. Check. Is our anchor light working? Although it looks like it probably is working. I could see how the anchor light was illuminating the anemometer, the wind vane at the top. So we're all good on all our lights. Another thing, making us ready to go. Join us next week. Want to get out of this place?
We think we have a weather window, so we are going to Tonga. On 100 nautical miles since we left Auckland.
Please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and place a comment below.